only hours left. The clock doesn't ask questions, it simply moves. And in that silent movement, it gives you a choice. Either act with purpose or be acted upon by life. July 10 and 11 are not just ordinary dates. For those who are truly aware, they represent a shift, a chance to confront the invisible line between who you are and who you are meant to become. These hours are your invitation to wake up, not just physically, but spiritually, mentally, emotionally. Time doesn't stop for anyone. It does pause briefly for those who are ready to listen. Are you? In these final hours, something powerful is happening. Not outside, within. There is a voice in you that's been silenced by excuses, drowned out by doubt, and ignored by fear. That voice is now rising. It's asking for your attention. It's asking for your commitment. It's asking, running through the park. Will you finally take the steps you've been avoiding? The most powerful transformations don't begin with a loud bang. They begin with a quiet decision. Decision that says, no more waiting. No more hiding. No more distractions. You see, change never comes without pressure. It is the weight of urgency that forces us to see clearly. These hours bring that urgency. They remind us that comfort is a silent killer and routine can become a prison if we don't challenge it. Running through the park, what you do now determines what you remember tomorrow. Will you look back on these hours as the time you acted, or as the time you let another chance slip away? It's easy to underestimate a single moment. We tell ourselves that tomorrow will be better, that someday will be ready. Someday is not a date. It's a disguise for fear. July 10 and 11 are not for waiting. They are for action. And this action doesn't have to be big. It just has to be real. Whether it's choosing discipline over comfort, focus over noise, or courage over delay, this is your time. Don't talk about what you're going to do. Don't explain. Don't seek applause. Just do the work. Build quietly, move silently, and trust that when the moment is right, your results will speak louder than your words ever could. Real power doesn't come from being seen. It comes from being prepared. And preparation begins in moments just like this, where no one is watching, but everything is changing. You're not here by accident. You're not hearing this by coincidence. These hours have been given to you for a reason. The question is, what will you do with them? Will you scroll through them, waste them, or rise inside them? The choice is yours, because when these hours are gone, they won't return. The impact of what you choose to do in them will echo far beyond the time itself. In every life comes a defining window, a moment so subtle that many don't notice, yet so powerful it can alter everything. July 10 and 11 are such moments. These aren't just dates, they're signals. Warnings for some, opportunities for others. You may think they'll pass like every other day, but the truth is, they mark a threshold. You can either step over it and move forward into the next version of yourself, or you can stand still and watch others pass you by. The difference isn't fate. It's focus. It's intention. It's what you choose to do with these final hours. Most people live in cycles, repeating the same thoughts, the same habits, the same excuses. They wait for the right time to change, to begin, to act. But the right time is rarely announced. It whispers instead of shouts. It tests your readiness in silence. These hours are a whisper to your spirit, asking you to rise, to listen, to respond. Not tomorrow, not next week, but no. What matters is not how loud your plans are, but how deeply rooted your decision is. A quiet, firm yes to yourself is more powerful than 1,000 intentions voiced to the world. Within you, running through the park, there is a battle between the part of you that wants to grow and the part that wants to stay safe. Growth requires discomfort. Safety requires sacrifice. The question is, what are you willing to sacrifice? Comfort or purpose? These hours force you to answer that. Not with your words, but with your actions. Will you let hesitation rob you of progress? Will you let the old you convince you that change can wait? Or will you finally move in spite of fear? The pressure you feel right now isn't punishment. It's potential. It's the universe giving you a final push, a gentle nudge saying, this is your time, use it. Don't let distractions pull you off track. Don't let doubts steal your momentum. Every second now is an investment in the life you claim you want. But if you do nothing, that life stays locked behind doors you refuse to open when you had the key. This isn't about motivation, it's about responsibility. No one is coming to save you. No one will force you to rise. The world isn't waiting, it's moving. You either catch the wave or you miss it. What you begin in these hours could define your next year, your next chapter, even your next identity. But only if you decide to begin. That is the power of now. This is your internal revolution. Quiet, personal, profound. These hours are your final rehearsal before life demands your performance. Step into your role. Prepare your mind. Sharpen your spirit. Let this be the hour where everything started to change, not because time made it so, but because you did. Most people believe change takes years, but in truth, transformation can begin in just a few hours. Not because the world shifts, but because you do. July 10 and 11 offer that exact opportunity. They aren't mystical, they're meaningful. The clock is ticking not to create pressure, but to create clarity. These final hours leading up to a turning point are here to show you what you ignored, postponed, or avoided for far too long. They are a mirror asking, are you living by design or drifting by default? Every breakthrough in life begins with self-awareness, running through the park. These hours are not about changing your outer world first. They're about turning inward and confronting the truths you've been running from. Truths about your habits, your patterns, your mindset. Because you can't step into something new while carrying what no longer belongs. If you want different results, you must become a different version of yourself. And that requires letting go of who you've been pretending to be. The truth is, you already know what needs to be done. You already know the next step, the decision, the shift that will move you forward. But knowledge means nothing without application. These hours are asking for one thing only, execution. Don't wait until it's comfortable. Don't wait until it's easy. You grow into strength by doing the things that scare you before you feel ready. That's how confidence is built, not by waiting, but by walking into uncertainty. When people look back on their lives, they rarely regret the things they tried. They regret the time they wasted not trying. They regret the hours lost in hesitation, overthinking, procrastination. July 10 and the 11 could be those days you look back on, either as the days you changed your life or the days you stayed the same. Which story will you write? Understand this transformation is never convenient. It shows up when it's least expected, but most necessary. These hours are not about chasing perfection. They are about initiating progress. The energy of change is already in motion. You don't have to create it. You just have to align with it. You don't have to see the entire path. You just have to take the first step and trust that movement will attract momentum. This is your inner revolution. It doesn't require noise. It doesn't need permission. It starts with a decision that no one sees but you. Decide who you want to be. Decide what you will no longer tolerate. Decide how you will show up starting now. Because the difference between where you are and where you want to be is not time. It's the decision followed by discipline. The next hours will pass, whether you use them or not. But your future will be shaped by what you choose in them. Time doesn't ask for your opinion, it responds to your action. So rise, begin, and let these hours become the ones that made everything different. There is a reason you feel a sense of urgency right now. It's not anxiety, it's alignment. Deep inside, something knows that these hours hold weight. July 10 and 11 are not just marked by time, they're defined by intention. The world outside may continue as normal, but internally, everything feels different because it is different. These moments aren't ordinary, they are invitations. Invitations to wake up, to rise, to do what you said you would long after the motivation disappeared. The only question is, will you answer that call? It's easy to talk about change. It's easy to plan, to dream, to imagine a better version of life. But the hard part, the part that defines the few, is doing the work in silence with no audience, no applause, and no immediate reward. These hours are not about proving anything to others. They are about proving to yourself that you are no longer willing to live on repeat. They are about choosing courage in the face of comfort, movement in the face of doubt, and clarity in the fog of distraction. Too often we believe we need more time. Time is not what's missing. Commitment is. Action is. And now is the time to act, not perfectly, but purposefully. These hours are a clean slate. They are a reset button for your mindset, your habits, your direction. You do not need to wait for a new year or a new week to start. This is the moment, because what you do in the next few hours will echo into the days and months ahead, shaping your path, your identity, and your results. Not underestimate the power of a single decision made with full conviction. That decision might be to start a routine, end a toxic habit, have the difficult conversation, or finally take your dream seriously. Whatever it is, the hours ahead are your opening. You don't need external permission. You don't need ideal conditions. What you need is resolve, a firm inner choice that says, I will no longer betray my own potential. Let others remain distracted. Let others postpone their lives. But you, if you're reading this, if you're feeling this, then you've already been chosen by this moment. You've been awakened for a reason. Don't ignore the pull. The resistance you feel isn't a sign to stop. It's a sign that what you're about to do matters. Every worthwhile step you take will be met with challenge. Expect it, accept it, move anyway. When the sun sets on July 11, you will know whether you gave yourself fully to this moment or allowed fear to once again dictate your direction. No more waiting, no more wishing, no more wasted time. This is your edge, your beginning, your hour of choice. Make it count, not for anyone else, for the version of yourself who's been patiently waiting to be released. Step forward without hesitation and watch how everything begins to shift. There is something sacred about the final hours before a breakthrough. They carry a certain tension, a mix of pressure, hope, and silence. July 10 and 11 represent those final hours. For many, they will pass unnoticed. But for those who are present, who are listening, carry deep significance. This isn't about predicting events, it's about preparing for impact, not from the outside world, but from the decision to evolve within. These hours are not for noise, they are for awareness. Awareness is the first step toward transformation. Your life does not change when circumstances change. It changes when your mindset shifts, and that shift is waiting for your permission. Too often, people wait for life to get easier before they commit to growing. But growth does not wait for comfort. It demands your attention now, especially when the pressure is building. The discomfort you feel isn't a reason to stop. It's the signal that you're entering the space where true change begins. The space between who you've been and who you're capable of becoming. This moment right now, these hours are your test. Not a test of strength, but of sincerity. Are you truly ready to take yourself seriously? Not just when it feels good, but when it's difficult, inconvenient, and lonely. These hours are a furnace. They burn away the fake, the lazy, the uncommitted. What remains is real, solid, focused. It's time to become that version of you who does what needs to be done even when no one is watching. Most people don't lack ability. They lack urgency. They wait for external motivation when all the drive they need is already inside. The reason July 10 and 11 matter is because they are your reminder time is running out. Not in fear, but in focus. The cost of delay is not just lost time, it's lost identity. Every time you wait, you reinforce the belief that you are not ready. Readiness is not a feeling, it's a decision. And these hours are begging you to decide. Don't look around for validation. Don't wait for signs that it's your time. It is your time. The only question is whether you will trust yourself enough to act, whether you will be bold enough to say, I am no longer waiting for life to push me. I am becoming the one who moves. In these final hours, you are being invited to rise, not through noise, but through discipline. Not by being loud, but by being relentless in quiet preparation. The world won't notice what you do in these hours, but the future you're building will. Every small step, every hard choice, every moment of resistance overcome, it's all stacking in your favor. This is how transformation begins, not with a leap, but with a choice. Simple, powerful choice made again and again. Time is not the enemy. Wasted time is. Make these hours your turning point. Because when they're gone, the only thing that will matter is how you use them. There are moments in life that whisper before they roar. July 10 and 11 are those moments. They won't arrive with fanfare or fireworks. They'll come quietly, like a breath, like a choice you make in silence. But within that silence lies power. Because what you decide in these hours has the potential to change the entire direction of your life. Not because something magical happens on the outside, but because something unshakable is born on the inside. These are not just hours, they are thresholds. And crossing them demands more than intention. It demands transformation. Often think change comes from a breakthrough, but breakthroughs are rarely external. They come when you shift your perspective, when you get brutally honest with yourself, when you stop blaming circumstances and start taking ownership of your next step. These hours are not about waiting for the right conditions. They're about realizing that the right time to grow, to heal, to move is always now. Every second you wait is another moment lost to hesitation, and hesitation is the enemy of evolution. This isn't about rushing. It's about realizing that you've carried untapped strength all along. Realizing that your limits have been more mental than actual. Realizing that your excuses, though familiar, have never served you. These hours offer clarity if you choose to pause and listen. Not to the noise around you, but to the voice within that's been quietly saying, it's time. You don't need to be louder. You need to be truer. You don't need to move faster. You need to move smarter, more intentionally, more consciously. Every great shift begins in the unseen. Just like a seed breaks open in darkness before sprouting into light, you too are being broken open. Not to be destroyed, but to be reborn. These hours may feel heavy. That's because they're filled with potential. And potential always carries weight. But it's the kind of weight that strengthens you, molds you, defines you. If you feel stretched right now, it's because growth is already in motion. There will be temptations to wait, to say, I'll start tomorrow. But tomorrow is built on what you do today. July 10 and 11 are not promised to everyone. Life is unpredictable. But one thing is certain, you're breathing, you're here, and that means you still have a choice. Use it. Stand in front of the mirror and decide who you are becoming. Then act like it. Walk like it. train like it, speak like it, not because someone told you to, but because you know you were meant for more. When these hours pass, the world may not look different, but you will. And that inner shift, that inner resolve is the spark that sets everything in motion. Future does not belong to the passive. It belongs to the prepared. Let this be your moment, not because time demanded it, because you declared it. Choose now, move now, become now. Comes a point where reflection must turn into resolve. July 10 and 11 are not just dates. They are a call to action, a final warning, a sacred space between what has been and what could be. These hours are precious because they hold weight. Not the weight of pressure, but of a possibility. They ask you one thing: will you let this moment pass like all the others? Or will you use it to redefine what your life stands for? This is not about rushing. It's about recognizing. Recognizing that you are at a crossroads and that your next step determines your next season. Nothing changes until you do. That's the truth most ignore. They wait for external shifts while avoiding the internal work. But real change begins where comfort ends. And these hours are uncomfortable for a reason. They're stretching you, breaking old thought patterns, shaking your old identity. Discomfort. It's not there to stop you. It's there to strip away everything false. What remains is your truth, your strength, your purpose, your next level. If you've been feeling stuck, lost, or uncertain, understand this. It's not confusion. It's calling. The world will try to keep you distracted. It will feed you entertainment, comparison, doubt. Within you is a place deeper than all of that, a space of silence, focus, and raw willpower. These hours are an opportunity to return to that space, to unplug from noise and reconnect with clarity. Because when the noise fades, the only thing that remains is the truth. You are responsible for your direction. And these hours are the opening you've been waiting for, whether you knew it or not. There's no magic switch that will suddenly make you ready. Readiness is built in motion. You become ready by doing, by showing up, by refusing to wait one more day to honor your potential. The people you admire, the disciplined, the focused, the accomplished, they weren't born different. They just decided to take themselves seriously, especially when it was hard. And now it's your turn. No more waiting for perfect timing. No more hoping things will just get better. You make things better by becoming better. This is not about achieving something big in one night. It's about setting a tone, creating a shift in mindset, a shift in habits, a shift in energy. When July 11 arrives, you should feel it. Not because the world changed, but because, say, you did. Maybe no one else notices. That's fine. This isn't their journey. It's yours. Quiet transformation is still transformation. And often, it's the most lasting kind. So what do these hours mean to you? That's the question. If you choose to act, to move, to recommit with intensity and intention, these hours will become sacred in your story. A turning point, a new chapter. The hours are here. The choice is yours. You can let them pass, or you can let them define the moment everything began to change.